What's up, guys? And so I made a mistake, and the mistake must have cost me about 300 of my videos or so, whatever. Actually, just now realizing that the videos come out a lot louder by not having headphones on, the headphones with the mics on them. So I'll start doing it like this after 400 videos or so, most of them. Anyway, so on Christmas or so, I watched the movie Soul. I was very excited to watch it, but didn't understand. I couldn't fathom just how much of an impact it would have on me. Um, I would have to say, flat out, it's the greatest family movie I've ever seen. Um, I mean, because there's a lot of feel good movies, but the takeaways are complete gems, and the adults need it more than the children. And I remember leaving that movie feeling extremely inspired. And for all I know, right now there won't be any spoilers. But I was watching last night a YouTube channel called Therapist Reacts, or it's something like that. Just check it out. It's a therapist and a filmmaker, and they react to certain films. Um, and they reacted to Soul, and I think it was right on time for me because I was starting to lose sight of it all once again. I started to lose sight of what was so inspirational about the movie when I first watched it. Now, after my second exposure, now I didn't watch the film again, but after my exposure just kind of to the lessons in the movie, I can feel that it's starting to stick. And well, by the title, you can tell where I'm going with this. And so, first, the movie was basically about a guy, and just watch it, please. It was basically about a guy so adamant about his purpose being a particular thing, yet losing sight of everything else that was going on around him, uh, outside of that, or in his pursuit to get to that place. And like a lot of us, we tell ourselves, you know, I don't know my purpose, or this is my purpose. This is all I have. Without this, I am nothing. Either way, both can be extremely detrimental. But to the former, to speak on that for a little bit, you say, uh, I won't be happy until I get there, basically declaring that if you never get there, then you will never be happy, which is the case for a lot of us. And if it's something that I realize just because, just from listening to a lot of smart people who get it, a lot of wise people, and then even applying that in my own life and just putting things into my very own perspective, is that, man, it's the journey. The journey matters. Everything that happens along the way matters. We get so caught up in the hustle and bustle of life where we don't really take the time to appreciate the day. All the little things that we just take for granted that would be like a highlight reel to somebody. And because I know, like, I'm an extremely ambitious person, and I can get down on myself often. Now, it hasn't happened a lot lately, but it's history depicts that I get down on myself if I don't feel like I'm being productive, if I don't feel like I'm getting anywhere in life. And having a child really heightened that sense. It really increased the amount of pressure that I put on myself, the resistance. And I think if you're doing parenting right, you know what I'm saying? I guess there's no one right way, but I think if you're doing it right, you understand very quickly that you put that resistance to the side. You know, like right now, I'm making a video. If my daughter wakes up crying and stuff like that, it's not favorable, but I will have to adjust. I tell her to come to me, and just go from there. That's a lot of what life is about. So in that regard, I'm actually glad that I had a child, even though there are times where I had to make decisions because I am a father. I can't go out right now because I have her. You know. and also certain activities I don't want to do because she deserves my focus, you know. But when I talk about life is demeaning, and I kind of already alluded to it, but I don't think I stressed the importance enough. Where it's like I understand the feeling of when you get something and it's shiny for a little bit, and then after a while it just kind of loses flair, and it's just part of your routine. But I mean, look at the times we're in. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got all the answers on this phone. I mean, I could do anything with this phone. I paid bills with this phone. Made money with this phone, and of course, paid bills on this phone. If I want something to come to me, I can do it on this phone. If I want to start a fight with somebody, I can do it right here. If I want to connect with somebody, ask them for advice, right here. I made powerful moves with this phone alone. Uh, and I just want to continue to live life where I look at everything with such a lens, and I understand its importance and its value, and I don't look at it like it's a throwaway thing. Like, for example, right here I have turmeric. Look at that. You could just go to the store, you just could buy it. And of course, it has its medicinal purposes. At one point in time, I mean, this used to be what people traded with. Look at that. It's like history in your hand. People traded with this, and with salt and other things that I can't think off top that I also have. It's just amazing. I got it in my hand. Um, but to speak more on the journey, because our life is full of so much resistance that we never actually get to appreciate the sugary foods that really, that do us in. But if it's going to do us in, let us at least enjoy the ride. You know what I'm saying? We don't always do that. We drive to work with anger or angst, and there's just a extra pep in our step because we're running behind, knocking down a donut and some sweet ass coffee. Never truly appreciating the taste, just using it as a means to wake up and I guess dope yourself up a little bit, if I might say. No judgment, but it just goes to show. And I mean, truly, to live in a time like this, when I compare it to how life was when I was a child, well, I guess when I was a child, life was as good as it was going to get. I mean, as far as technological advances, advancements, I had what was current, I guess, more or less, you know. But just seeing how far along we've come, from a resource aspect, the things we can do to have some fun, the things that we can do to stay connected with people. You know, a lot of people, and I understand the mindset, but a lot of us, we're committing suicide because we feel lost. We feel like we've lost a game, which is interesting because a game is finite. All right, you look at the NCAA tournament just ended, and Gonzaga lost to Baylor, whatever. That's a finite thing. 4 quarters and it's over. Now, sure, this life will be over for us, but a lot of people decided it was over for them a long time ago. You know, people were in their 50s talking about how they fucked up. So they just keep staying in that same old loop. You would think that wisdom would help them, but they look at all that they've lost and all that they failed at, and they use it as some type of guide to how to live the rest of their life. Just gonna coast. Just gonna coast. And then there are people younger than me who feel like there's no way out, and then they just commit suicide. And not only is it unfortunate, it doesn't it doesn't give a lot of insight to the fact that this life is, it's not as finite as we make it. You know, if you want to treat this game like it's 4 quarters, people taking themselves out in the first quarter. You know, we had a bad first quarter. We had a bad first half. Oh well, I guess that's just how it's supposed to be. That's just the card that was drawn. And it's like, no. The beautiful thing about this life actually is that you get to try as many times as you want. And when you let go of the resistance, and I say the resistance, I mean the fear of failing, the fear of being embarrassing yourself, fear of being mocked or whatever it is, then what you have is just a bunch of opportunity. And you learn to enjoy it, man. You know? And I don't know if this actually fits in, but I want to talk about this. And so, somebody was talking about how we could really do some good for ourselves by investing in Africa and stuff like that. Money goes a long way. And I ain't just talking about Ghana and not even Nigeria, but a lot of places over there, Liberia, and so $1,000 could get you a place to stay for a whole year. That's it, just $1,000, not $1,000 a month. $1,000 a year could give you a nice place to stay for a whole year. But that's a different conversation. And so what she was saying was, when you think about that, how this money goes a long way in certain places in Africa, and by the way, other countries are capitalizing on that as well. You understand how somebody can come to this country, work a shitty ass job, save up enough money, send that back home. They go to back home $5,000 or something like that. They can start their own business or whatever the case may be, and just completely change their lives. Now, why do I say this? Why do I even bring this up? Is because if you know, and and I'm gonna follow up on this when I'm finished, because this doesn't really capture everything that I want to say about this. But for starters, if you know what you're doing this for, it eases up a lot of your tension. It eases up a lot of your anxiety. It will enable you to endure a lot of things, cut out a lot of the other things, because you got a vision for yourself, you know? And so the reason why I kind of wanted to add a little bit extra to it afterwards is because a lot of us don't know where we're going. So I don't want that to be like a discouraging thing. Because the second part to that is that I just want to like put heavy emphasis on learning to love every part of it, of your journey. Now, not individually, like you may not love working at, I don't know, McDonald's or whatever it is. So you got to look at your life as a whole and what you incorporate into your life outside of working at McDonald's. And which is very important, something I've been talking about a lot with my child's mother, is like just letting go of identity for real. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of us, we use these identities to kind of not only just hype ourselves up, but to kind of give ourselves well, I don't want to say give ourselves an identity, because that's the point that I'm making, but hype ourselves up, give ourselves this sense of importance, or give ourselves kind of a sentence of sorts, kind of a life sentence of sorts, and you say, I'm a painter. I can't paint if my hands don't work. Now what am I supposed to do? Now everybody doesn't just pack it in once something they were good at, it gets taken away from. Not everyone does that, but a lot of us do, even before it gets taken away from, or like you really want to do something, but you don't have the resources. You may not even have the mental fortitude to do it, or you may not really have the ability to take initiative, just based on whatever circumstances it is. And you say it's either that or it's nothing. And so, like I was saying earlier, a lot of us choose nothing. But what I was saying about identity is because, and I guess if you look on my Instagram, I kind of do it, but not enough. It's because I want to do so many things with my life, and I kind of am. But I want to free myself of those things. So if I choose to do something else, it just really wouldn't matter to me. Like, I got no pride about this shit. You know what I'm saying? People can say whatever about me. And that's what I think actually takes away the sting, is just that I don't want to attach myself with what I do. Some people say you are what you do. I mean, you don't have to be, okay? You know, I'm pretty sure that there were some times in my life, and I'm speaking candidly, if I gave myself more time to think about it, I could give you a clear answer. But I'm sure there were times in my life where if I didn't write for a long ass time, I really doubted myself. Like, are you a writer? Like, are you really a writer? Like, even now, I've been extremely inconsistent, but I wrote 11 books. If I wrote 100 books, I don't even care to say, oh, I'm a writer. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I got pride, or I'm gonna be the gatekeeper to everybody. You know, being a grammar Nazi, or I don't know, speaking out against people who went to school for creative writing. And sometimes I do that. Just because people, so a lot of people think that that's the route you got to take, and I don't know, sure, do it. But I mean, if you really want to get into it, just get into it right now. Like, don't wait till the school tell you you're ready to do it. Just do it and get better at it. Which goes into the conversation. It's just about the journey, and a lot of us stay in this box for whatever reason because we think if we show a different side of us, or we show something else that we like to do, expose that about ourselves, and well, we'll be judged for it and we'll be mocked for it. Newsflash, you will be judged for it. You will be mocked for it. Some people, a lot of us color in the lines the best way we can, and we still get judged. You can do everything right, and people will still mock how big your nose is, for example, or how fucked up your mustache is. You know, it is what it is, and that's why I don't try to please people. I try to please myself, and to get to that point, I have to make life kind of correlate with self love. Like, I'm not going to speak out against being hard on yourself, but some of us are just so hard on ourselves that we actually don't even make any progress, and I'm guilty for that. It's like you think beating yourself up about it is really going to make a change, and I guess some of us do get inspired by something like that, but really, that kind of creates this loop of if you're not productive, you don't have a right to be happy. And everybody doesn't have the same luxury as me, but just being on both sides, there's something very empowering about slowing things down and being quite zen with it, and not trying to take on the whole world at once and try to fight every problem at once. No, just do one thing at a time. I feel like that's a very powerful epiphany for me, because, and I'm sure a lot of you like this is very natural, is that when you think about one problem, you just start thinking about all the other problems, and you just let it pile on yourself. And so it's just very good to take a step back and just observe, observe all of these things that have bothered you, but they haven't killed you. They haven't taken you out. You know, chances are, if you are watching this video, you aren't in that too bad of a position. You know what I'm saying? You aren't. And if you are, bro, I just hope this finds you at the right time. Because if you can just find a way, and I'm working on it myself, but if you can just find a way to enjoy all of these little things about life that are as little or as big as you make it, man, I just think that would make everything so much better, you know? And just internalizing that just really helped my relationship with being a father, being, I guess, an introvert, being a whatever. All of these labels I put on myself, but really just living the human experience. And even just thinking about that, just like life is the meaning, experience life however I can. Honestly, it makes me not so fearful about death. I almost embrace it in a way, and so I think I'm on to something. I got a lot of life to live. I would hope, and I'm just gonna try to make the most out of every little thing, and even if I'm nervous or shaky about it, embarrassed or whatever it is, I'll step up to it and I'll embrace it. I'll accept it, and just live life, man. That's the best. That's the best way I can put it. But if you want to know the meaning of life, it's to live it. It's to live it. No matter what hand you've been given, no matter who's thrown in your life, just try to see the beauty in as many things as possible. And guys, really, I've been on and off sick since November. It messes up my progress quite a bit, and sometimes I get angry and I get worried a little bit. But I know this won't last forever, not because I just think it's gonna go away, but I do the work, and I still find ways to enjoy myself even if I feel extremely tired or beat up, and like the responsibilities pile up. It's okay, um, because I mean this life it just won't last that long. I can live to be 100, but it still won't be long enough. All right, and I think that's it, man. So I appreciate all the little things, every little bit of luxury you can afford yourself, every bit of joy, whether if it's Netflix or Hulu, or a little bit of ice cream, or just getting to hang out with the guys or whomever. That little bit of time, it all makes a difference. Thank you.